So I'm unemployed. And that is why I'm making YouTube videos. My name is Ava, and I asked some of you guys to tell me what you want to talk about on my channel, and you guys asked some questions about my background, like why am I doing YouTube? Do I have a background in art? Blah, blah, blah. So I thought maybe I will make a kind of semi-scripted, semi-unscripted video where I answer your questions and talk about, why am I doing YouTube and where do I get my inspiration from. So thank you so much for giving me questions. Let's get into it. Okay, I guess we'll start with how and why YouTube. So my career aspirations in the YouTube realm started many years ago, actually, with my first ever YouTube video attempt. And I filmed myself on my laptop camera in conversation, I can't remember this very well, but in conversation with a pineapple, like the actual fruit, something like that. I think it was like an interview Q&A style. I don't know, but I do remember watching it back myself. I think I was about 14 at the time and being like, this is so horrible. No one can see this. So I think that was before we started using words like cringe, but it was kind of the embodiment of cringe. I wish I had it somewhere now. I have no idea where it is, but I wouldn't show you either way. But the reason I was interested in making YouTube videos at the time was because I was super into the YouTube golden age with Dan Is Not on Fire and Dan and Phil Games, and I loved Liza Koshy and Superwoman at the time, and then, PewDiePie, Markiplier. It was a very, you start with one YouTuber and then it was kind of like a gateway drug to all. I also really loved animated story time YouTube channels like Jaden Animations, Odd One Out, and Domix. Yes, that was the first one I ever watched. But basically after that first pineapple video attempt, I gave up for the most part. Like I always had the dream, one day. But I just was like, I am not skilled enough at this time. No one's gonna watch this. But now I graduated, I have degrees, and now I'm unemployed and rethinking my whole life. So what better a time to start a YouTube channel than now? And I also have a new mindset, a kind of just do it mindset that Nike campaign finally sank in, 8 years later. But yeah, basically I'm no longer concerning about the quality of my stuff and more just like, if I want to do it, just do it and then put it out there, and I'll learn and get better as I go along. I'll try new things, and it's not about the final product or how many people see it, but it's more about how much fun did I have while doing it, which is very cheesy, but I believe it. I really do. And it's hard to really commit to this mindset, and sometimes I forget about it, but I've made a promise to myself that I am just going to make stuff. Okay, so my art background. Yeah, so I've taken like art classes here or there when I was a kid, but like nothing crazy. But I don't have any degree or super formal training, just passion. Obsessively doodling in class instead of actually listening during math, writing stories instead of doing my essays for school, and so on and so forth. I'm sure my teachers would be thrilled to hear this. I guess the most official thing that I did with art and writing and stuff was an art magazine, art platform sort of thing that I was part of in my undergrad degree. And I did my undergrad in Europe, so I was basically surrounded by a bunch of people who like had a bunch of piercings and like smoked cigarettes. They love smoking cigarettes in Europe. I didn't smoke, but they did, and it was like chain smoking a lot. And we would have these meetings and we were just like, let's make a magazine, let's just do it. And we took submissions and created our own content and like threw in stuff like crossword puzzles and like, I don't know, fan fiction Mad Libs, like all kinds of crazy fun stuff. And then we got donations from people and printed a magazine. It was a very like grassroots organizing kind of thing, and I would recommend it to anyone who has a love for creative stuff, whether it's writing or music or whatever, because we would use donations to host events and invite local bands to play at a bar, and it was so much fun. I'll tell you guys more about that sometime, but yeah, that's kind of my art background. I really don't discriminate when it comes to art. I love high art and literature. I love museums as much as the next gal. But I also love anime and animated shows like Arcane, and I'm so excited for season 2. And if you haven't seen it, you should watch it now because the new season comes out this November. I mean, I also love like super trashy webcomics on Webtoon. That's like my secret guilty pleasure. I've been on that app since like 2017. I'm also making a Webtoon if you're interested in teen comedy, romance, friendships stuff. I don't know. I'm also taking a just do it mentality to that one. Here's a scale of my art interest from most fancy to least fancy. Yeah, there you go. Finally, where do I get my inspiration? I really like honest stuff. Stuff that feels real, that feels genuine. I mean, I love silly stuff too, or things that are just cool for the sake of being cool. But generally, I find inspiration from characters and concepts and stories that say something about humanity or, society that I can really relate to, even if it's in a silly way. I like anything that just has a touch of authenticity. I mean, even on Webtoon, there's this Webtoon I really love, and it's called like, oh my god, I can't remember. Oh, After School Lessons. Here's a photo of it. I love that Webtoon because of how well it writes its characters, and it's not just a flat story that's purely focused on some kind of romance or whatever, which a lot of Webtoons are. It's got like a rich world of like these quirky middle school characters, and I love it so much for it. Yeah, no, I think I rambled a little bit too much, but yeah, that's my story when it comes to YouTube and art, and I hope I at least partially answered your questions, and I'll talk more about any of this stuff in the future. I would love to know from you guys, what's your background in art? Do you like creative stuff? And tell me what more you would like to know in other videos. I'll definitely love to continue this conversation. And you guys have a lovely day. It was nice to talk with you.